Hey guys, it's CJ from The Artist Murder, and you're watching RichardMetalFan.
So what's up, guys? I'm here at the Masquerade in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm here chatting with CJ McMahon from The Artist Murder. How you doing, CJ?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing pretty well. It's hot as fuck, but it's hot Atlanta.
Yeah, dude, like this is much similar to like where I live, so I love the heat, fuck the cold.
Yeah. So basically I want to do a quick rundown of your catalog as well as your musical journey from where you started to now. But before we go into that, what were the first bands that got you into metal and made you want to be a vocalist?
Deftones, Limp Bizkit, Korn, that would probably be the three. Nirvana started it all when I was a kid, but it's not really metal. Nirvana got me into music, then Sublime, and then, yeah, like Limp Bizkit, Deftones, Slipknot, System of a Down as well is in there.
Yeah, and so were you in any bands before joining The Artist Murder?
Oh yeah, dude, like 8. Yeah. It's just like garage bands with friends when I was a kid. And then I wanted to be a drummer.
Oh, really?
And then this band that my friends were in lost their singer because he got a girlfriend. And then I just kind of jumped on the mic. And then I guess the rest is history.
And how did you end up joining the band? Because I know you weren't an original member, but how did you discover them and end up joining?
Well, I played in another local band in Western Sydney. And before Thy Art kind of took off, we were like the up-and-coming like new metal band. We're like Parkway, but probably a little bit heavier than Parkway. And then I watched them form. They had problems with their original singer really early on, like 6 months into them coming out. They kicked him out. They kept asking me to join, and I was like, nah, man, I don't know what this deathcore shit is. And then I got sick of the band I was in, and I said, yeah, fuck it. I joined Thy Art.
All right, and when you joined Thy Art, were you listening to like their first like EP and stuff and be like, this is what I need to do, or were you allowed to like bring like your own mix to the band?
Dude, when I first joined, I was like a hired gun. They just said, they gave me records like Deicide, Meshuggah, Behemoth, and said, sound like these dudes. And then so when I did the Adversary record, I was just kind of told what to do. And then when we did Hate, our producer Will Putney, the greatest producer that's ever fucking lived, he just said, show me what you got. And it was just me and him in the studio, and then I showed him everything I can do, and he's like, nah, we're doing this and this and this and this. So that changed the whole band, because up until that point, some of the previous members were like told me what they wanted me to do, and then Hate was like showing the world what I can do opposed to what I was told to do.
Yeah, and kind of like going back to the Adversary, what was that whole recording process like?
It was kind of funny. We did it ourselves in a studio, and like I was selling weed and ecstasy, and mainly weed. So we're just sitting there. So I was like, we're doing vocal takes. The dude would rock up and sell him weed. So it's kind of like in the industrial area, Seven Hills near Blacktown, Western Sydney. And none of us knew what we were doing, and we just did what we could. And then it took like 3 or 4 weeks on and off because we all had jobs. Yeah. And that was the Adversary, just smoking a shit ton of weed, drinking, and selling weed in between takes and shit. So yeah, it was kind of weird.
Yeah, and going to the next album, Hate, like with the debut album, you have like your entire career and life to write it. But with Hate, did you felt pressure to follow up the Adversary?
No, we wanted to do something different, something more organic, and that was like, we had different members apart from like Adversary to Hate, 2 different dudes. So Will kind of helped shape our sound at the time. Will always has a huge impact on every record we do.
Right, and also this year is the 10-year anniversary of Hate, and I pretty much know the answer, but I'll ask anyway. Is there a chance we can get a celebration of that album somehow?
100%. 100%.
Maybe tonight we can get the album in full?
No, but it's we're talking about doing something special for Hate for sure.
And awesome. And then the next album, Holy War, and that was really the album that really got me into you guys. I mean, I just listened to you guys a little bit before, but that really what made you a fan of that album. What was that like, going from Hate to Holy War?
It was like a lot more polished, a lot more experimental for us, and then I could change it up with accented screams. I think the writing process was more technical, more thought out, rather than just being ignorantly as heavy and disgusting as we could with Hate. and then we touched on a lot of subjects that are a bit sensitive to some people. So I got like probably 10 death threats after
shit.
Holy War came out. We had to have security at a few shows.
God damn.
Armed security, which was
Yeah.
kind of pretty red hot. But yeah, so Holy War was great. We actually wrote and recorded Holy War in a matter of weeks because we had time restraints, and it just flowed really organically and naturally.
All right, and a lot of people know after the album, you left the band for a little bit. But what was the reason for leaving the band?
I wanted to get married. The band wasn't really making much money. I was addicted to cocaine, like in a big way, dangerous way. So I needed to kind of step back and be with my wife and trying to sort my life out. And then a year after that, I was kind of like, okay, I'm good, but I still need the fucking band.
Yeah, and then how did you end up coming back to the Die Artist Murder?
An Instagram chat between me and our guitarist Sean DeLander. He's like checking in on me, like, because we live in different states far away, and it was just like, hey man, what's up? We didn't really talk. We kind of ended it pretty abruptly on my end mainly, and then yeah, me and Sean just started talking, and I know they were having trouble without me, and I was having a lot of trouble without them, and it started out as a joke. And Sean's like, oh, you should just come back to the band. I'm like, yeah, like it's that easy. And he's like, yeah, it is. I'll just tell the boys and we'll have a chat. And then I had a chat with our manager, who's our guitarist, Andy Marsh.
Yeah.
And then I came back.
Awesome. And when going into Dear Desolation, was it seeing as this your first album back? Did you want to start fresh with that album, or just pick up after Holy War?
I think it was like we always try and not start fresh with every record, but we try and outdo every record that we can. So every record since Holy War is incredibly hard to write because we want to make it the best we can and try and not have any really like weak songs. But it's hard. Like any band that's, you know, got a lot of records out, it's always hard to like outdo your previous work. So
Yeah.
when we do this next record, it's going to be tremendously difficult.
Yeah, yeah, and I remember on that cycle, Dear Desolation, I actually saw you twice. That was where the first time I saw you all. You played with Decapitated back in 2017, and you did that tour with Dying Fetus. What was that whole touring process and the cycle like when you came back?
Yeah, it was sick, man. Like all those dudes are great dudes, great bands. Shows have always gotten bigger and better here in America for us. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's every tour has been great. We haven't had like a tour with a band for a long time that we didn't kind of like vibe with and get along with. So, you know, we're a little bit different in like how we act, how we dress, what we're into than most bands. But, you know, everyone's been really cool with us touring and shit. So
That's awesome. And then your most recent album, Human Target, was awesome. Would you just consider that just picking up after Dear Desolation, or is it almost kind of like a standout more in the Die Artist Murder catalog?
I don't know, man. It's just another record. You know, I think we knew we were onto something good with Human Target. I feel like for me personally, Holy War and Human Target is our best work. Hate is also up there. That kind of pushed us into like a different realm and in a different kind of way of playing, and then it got a lot of heat and a lot of attention. But yeah, for me it's Holy War and Human Target. You know, that's I feel that's where our best work's at.
Right. So you always try to like experiment with your sound. There's not like a formula that you guys stick with, right?
Yeah, we have a formula, but then it's like making a cake. You know, you make the same fucking cake every time. People are going to like it because they're familiar with it, but you want to spice it up a little bit, you know. So I think like every record we're kind of throwing something new into the mix whilst keeping the structure, the skeleton of what we are. But I think when we do this next record, there's a bit of chatter between a couple of us about trying to add a few big different elements to it that we haven't really touched on before. So we got to wait until we hit the studio, whenever that's going to be, and figure it out there.
All right, and No Human Target was also the first album with your current drummer Jesse. Did he bring like something new rhythmically to Die Art that you all didn't have previously?
I think so. I think Lee has like one of the fastest right hands in the world, and we love Lee. Lee will always be a part of Die Art. whether he's with us or he's not. And then Jesse's the same. We've known Jesse for 10 years. He was the only replacement that we thought of when Lee had to step away from the band. And then Jesse's just like almost like flawless drummer, man. Like, and he's just the best dude. He's a fucking sweetheart. He's got the kindest heart. He's the best dude, man. He's like, if anyone on this world could replace Lee, it's Jesse.
Yeah, just no questions. Not like no other drummers. Like Jesse's like, yo, you're in the band.
We had been approached by other drummers that, you know, on paper may have been a better drummer or a bigger drummer or could do crazier shit, but Jesse fits with us, not just musically, but personality-wise. Like, I feel that Jesse's always been in the band.
Yeah. And kind of like going into like the songwriting, as a vocalist, do you usually need to hear music in order to come up with lyrics, or do you usually have a lyrical concept in mind and that can help determine the music itself?
I don't usually write well. I usually write well with Marshy and Will. Sometimes I'll have like a theme of a song that I want to sing about, like topical information, but as far as lyrics go and structuring, it can't happen until I have the music.
All right. And kind of like going into your live show, is there a similar energy to playing live as to recording, or they're almost kind of like two separate entities?
It's not even two separate entities. It's like two totally different fucking sports. So it's like playing live is like NFL, you know, like it is fast, it is smart, it is hard. Cunts are getting fucking hurt. Shit's going fucking spastic. People are bleeding. It's like real. That's real pain. That's really happening. And then writing is like chess. It's stressful. Any wrong move that you make, you will suffer from. You know, I fucking hate recording. I absolutely hate recording, and all I want to do is play live all the time.
All right, and go another question about lives, because I know you play with a bunch of different bands. I know you played with Decapitated and like Morbid Angel, Joel Dying Fetus. You played a tour with like Architects and While She Sleeps, and then Parkway Drive. Do you ever notice like a different crowd reaction depending on the types of tours that you're on?
Not really. Like, I think our fan base is so spread as far as age, demographic, and variety. Like, we got dudes that are huge fans of ours that really only listen to Parkway and Architects. We got fans of ours that only listen to like Meshuggah, Dying Fetus, Decapitated. So like our fan base is sprawled through so many different variants and genres of metal that like our fans pull up regardless whoever the fuck we're playing with, whether it's arenas, small venues, big venues, whatever. I don't notice any difference. As long as that crowd is popping off, I'm fucking putting my balls on the wall. Like, I'm trying to destroy myself every time a crowd is going crazy.
Awesome. And I got a couple more questions for you. You're coming from Australia, which I consider Australia to be like the Sweden of the Pacific, with so many great bands like Parkway Drive, Amity Affliction, Aversion's Crown, the Navel of the Scars,
North Lane, Polaris, In Heart's Wake. Fuck, dude. Like,
another bunch of great bands.
Alpha Wolf is popping off. One of my favorite bands. They're going to try and come here this year, I think. Justice for the Dam.
Oh, wow.
They're like so sick. And like, they're going to be the new thing in hardcore, man. They're so good.
Yeah, so was there like a music scene in Australia that you felt a part of, or was it for the goal for the band to like get outside of your country and play in front of different audiences in different countries?
It's both, man. Like, you got to remember Australia's population is smaller than California's population.
Oh, shit.
And so even if bands live, 2,000 miles away from each other, because we're Australian, we're kind of bound together, so we try to help each other as much as we can. We're all friends. So some of the bands you mentioned and I mentioned, we've been friends for 10, 12, 13 years. We've all grew up together playing shitty little shows to playing like arenas and big venues and shit together. We're all doing well in our own country, but we're all doing really well overseas.
All right, and kind of like my last question, kind of like going back into like songwriting, and for you in particular, how do you know when a song is done?
Until I do vocals, we don't really know. We do have some songs that we've made, like Holy War, Human Target, for instance, Pure Strain of Hate. like before the vocals go down, we know this song's going to be strong. Once we write the lyrics and we map out the phrasing and the patterning, then we get even more excited. And then once me and Will have finished recording vocals and we get some of the dudes from the band in to come and listen to it and we hear it for the first time as a real thing, then we're like, we're onto something here.
Awesome. So before we go, I just want to thank you for this interview. It's just anything else with Diaries that you like to promote? I know you're slowly working on the next album. Just anything else you like to plug in terms of new music, tours and stuff?
Nah, man. I'm all good.
Awesome. So everybody, CJ from Diaries Murder. We'll see you next time.